Hi, following on from the Canva class of the other night, I've created this little quick guide to all the things that we were covering on Canva. So whenever you go to canva.com, if you're signed in, it'll have your initials up at the top right hand corner. And the first thing that we were doing was we're actually looking at all the templates that were on Canva to get some inspiration as to the types of designs that we like and that kind of thing. So exactly the same as the other night, we're just going to type in beauty up here at the top, click before you type, and then just type in beauty followed by the enter key. As you can see, all the different templates are coming up here, and those that are free will not have a little crown on them, but there's still plenty of options even without paying for Canva. And at the end, I will actually show you a free tool for removing the backgrounds from images. So as you can see, there's lots of different options here. All I'm looking for here is one that has maybe a couple of little grids on it, just like we were working with on Tuesday night. And I think this one here is fine because it shows actual packages and so on. And that would be quite useful for anybody that does services such as beauty, or just they offer different products or anything like that. So let's have a wee look at this one. Click once on it and customize. And here what you can do is let's give it a name to start with. So we're just going to call this beauty test. And you don't need to click or do anything, just type it in and just click off it. If you're deselecting something, which means you want to stop working with it, just click anywhere off the canvas. So this area to the right or this area to the left doesn't make any difference. You're just deselecting what it was that you were clicking on and working with. Now, in this case here, we've got a pattern background, and that's probably an image of some sort. And if I click once on it, it is actually giving me the option to edit the photo. But I'm going to try and change the color to start with. So over here on the left hand side is background color, and we can change this to any color that you want. So we could go a black, and it certainly looks like it's some kind of overlay on this one. So why don't we just click once on it and delete it, and that's the photo away. And as you can see now, we've got our background color. Well, that's too dark, so we're just going to choose this one. And then what we can do as well is click once on the actual text, and at the top left hand corner we can change your font style. And again, there's lots of different font styles that are available on the free one. Anything with a crown is the pro, but there's more than enough choice available for free. So I'm just going to go for that League Spartan one because that works quite well. We can change the font size to make that bigger. And if it does go on to 2 lines, as you can see, that actual text box doesn't fill the entire area. We can click, hold, drag, and put it back on to 1 line again. And if we move, click and drag this, you can see that whenever I'm in the center, you've got a line that runs up the middle of it, and that just tells you that you're in the middle of the canvas, and that's fine. And you can also click on this and change the color. So we're going to go and change that to white. And if we go into effects, click once in shadow, and change the color of the shadow to black, it just makes white text stand out a wee bit more for headings like this, so that you just get your message across a bit clearer. You can also use the uppercase just to make that capital letters. And we can decrease the font size as well, just to make it not fill that area completely. You can go ahead and click on this and change your font style and keep it consistent. You don't want to have too many fonts in one particular document. You want it to be clean and clear and easy for people to read. So instead of handwriting styles like this, you're probably better off just sticking to something even like this one here, which is called Bebas New. And as you can see, it's quite a nice plain font, and it's not a million miles away from this one. But you're wanting to keep the probably 2 or 3 fonts at the max for each canvas that you're working on. Once you get a style that you're happy with and a font size that you want, for example, we'll just go and keep this one at 40. Do the same for this one and this one. And change your actual pricing on this one, and this one to the same font style that you were using here on the 4.2. Here is a block of text, or it's called a bulleted list. And if we click once on it and then click on spacing up here at the top, we can adjust the line spacing and make it tighter, or make it fill that section out. So if we went to 2 line spacing, that's fine, but you would need to do the same then for this one. And again, just click on the spacing and change that to 2. And exactly the same for this one as well. Because then that just keeps it consistent across that. So if I click once in there, that gives you all the different options of what you can do with it, such as spacing or effects or alignment as well. So if we were to click on this text box, for example, as you can see, the alignment is set to center on this template. We can click once on it and that left aligns it. Click again and it justifies it. Very little point of doing that in Canva. And then you have the option there to right align, and it's really up to you what you would go for. I think centering works very well for that kind of template, so I don't think it needs any adjustments. If I click on this, it tells me what the font name is. I can click on this one and change that. Click on this one and change that. And the other change that I made was I increased this to 40. I can click once in here and actually just highlight that font size and type in 40 followed by an enter key. And exactly the same for this. Highlight, type in 40, hit the enter key. The other things then that we were working with were, if we go into elements, we can search for a photo or a graphic that might be appropriate. So let's go for nails on this one. So type in nails followed by the enter key. Click on photos. And we've got lots of different options here for nail photos that we can use. Again, on the case of this example, we're not going to use anything that has a crown on it, but I can then click, hold, drag and wait for it to actually fill this. It's called snap to grid, and it means that it's snapping the photo into that area. Whenever I see it previewing like that, I let go, click, hold, and drag and drop, and exactly the same thing again. Click, hold, drag, and drop. I can also reposition this photo by double clicking on it and dragging that up or dragging it down, but I'm going to drag it up and just click off the canvas again, and as you can see that photo's been moved. Just to repeat that, double click on it and you can just drag the photo to wherever you want. Whenever you're happy with it, click off to the side, and you actually can go in and double click on that photo if you're not happy with it. If you do make a mistake or you've done something that you don't want to do, you can click on undo, and you can keep on clicking on undo up at the top left hand corner and go back as many steps as you want until you're happy with that. You can also upload your own photos. So if I go to upload, it'll show a history of everything that you've been working on in the past and uploaded. You can go to upload files, and you can go from your downloads. So if you've downloaded it from an email, it would always be in your downloads. Or you can go into documents or pictures and choose an image that you actually want. Now, I'm going to just have a wee look and see if there's something that I can use here. I'm just going to use this stock photo. Click once on it and then it'll say open or insert. Always give it a wee second or two while it uploads that. It'll take longer if you're uploading a video, and Canva can cope with you uploading videos and you using them on your social media templates. It's exactly the same thing again. Click, hold, drag and drop. And this photo is definitely not appropriate for nails, but you need to know how to upload your own images as well. So you can also, whenever you get this actual template to a stage that you're happy with, you can click up here where it says duplicate page, and it'll give you a duplicate of what you've just created. This means that you can actually make adjustments to it, but keep the same font styles, colors, and certain elements to it. For example, this is a shape, and these are all shapes that are part of the template. Let's say you wanted to focus in on one specific service or type of product. Click once on these elements and get rid of them. And you can click once and then hit your backspace key or your delete key and just get rid of all those different elements. Then what I can actually do is click on this and drag that shape out, and I can still see the other actual template above it, and I can sort of just by eye, I might want to keep that box the same width and keep the framing the same. I can then click on this image here, and this kind of image probably doesn't work so well whenever the shape's that wide, but I could click on it, still delete it, go into my elements, and it still shows nails, so I'm just going to delete that. And I'm just going to type in frame just to see, is there an element available that would be appropriate for that size. Where it says frames, it gives me the option to see all. And this size of image then would work quite well with that. Click once on it, drag it into where I want it to be, and that sort of image size there could work quite well. Bring that over, and as you can see, it's showing me that it's in the center. And then I can drag any of these text boxes down, and I can get rid of things like that line. I could drag this over. I can drag this to make it bigger as well. And I could drag that over to wherever I want here. Something like that. This price hasn't been changed in terms of font style. So click once on it, click on this, and that was called Beavis New. I would also click on it. That's font size 55. So is this. So everything's matched up. And if I drag that, you'll see little guides that tell you that it's equal height. So it says 31. That's 31 pixels. Below the photo and below the next piece of text, do exactly the same thing again. And it'll show me a little dotted line to show me that the text is the same height as the other, the same line. You could then go change this to a bigger font, drag out your text box, and that's quite a good little guide there to show that you wouldn't be writing text beyond the width of the photo. And you can also click on this, and you don't have to have a list. You can click on that, click on it, and as you can see, the list now is away, or the bullet list. I can drag this out again, and as you can see, there's the dotted line. Exactly the same thing, there's the dotted line. And you can put a paragraph of text in here. You could go into your uploads or your elements, clear anything that you were searching for before, and search for whatever it is that you're looking for. So for example, why don't we go for wedding cars? Just to have something a wee bit different. Go into photos. Looking for anything there that doesn't have a little crown on it. This one's a wee bit harder to search for. They must want to move more wedding cars onto the paid for package. You could do weddings. This one here would be okay for a venue. Click, hold, drag, and drop. And then you've got something that is consistent in look to your original template that you've done all your changes to in terms of color and so on. And you can click on this element and change your color. Click on this, change your font style, your size, your color. If it isn't already a bold font, you would have a bold option. You can underline it. You can capitalize it or turn it back to upper and lowercase. Center it. Adjust the spacing of the letters or the lines. And whenever you're finished then and you're ready to use that for your social media, up here at the top right hand corner, click and share. One of the things we did talk about was sharing it. So if you've done the design as far as you can, but there's still something that you're struggling with, you can actually share it with a graphic designer or a printer or somebody that knows how to do exactly what you're wanting to do. You could put in their email address, or you can copy the link for it. But if it's ready for social media, click once and download. If it comes up with MP4 video, change it to a PNG, because PNGs will work well for Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn as well. And so will JPEG, but the quality just won't be as good. You might just get a wee bit of blurriness or something like that. So stick to PNGs. And because there's two pages here, I only want this one. So I would change select pages and I'd deselect page 1 or vice versa. Click on done and click on download. Always give it a few seconds and it will download into your downloads. There's no need to save. As long as you've named it, it will always appear in your recent designs. You can leave the tab open or you can close the tab. Whenever you close the tab, you'll come back to your last thing that you were doing in Canva. So with this one, I'm just going to close it. You actually can click on Canva just to take you back to where you were originally. But we're now going to go on to creating your own design. Click on create a design and you can type in things like Facebook post. But for the likes of Instagram posts, Facebook, LinkedIn, or even if you're doing a tile or a little box to put on your website, the square format actually works very well. And we're just going to do that. We're going to type our name in. And I'm just going to call this Canva test. And I'm going to click off it. So here, blank canvas, click once on it, and we're going to choose a color. There are gradient colors, and there's solid colors. And up here at the top left-hand corner is a color wheel. And you can drag this across just to see all the different colors that are available. And you can drag this just to go for something that might work for you. Once you've selected the color, just click off it. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to go into text. And it really doesn't matter if you go for adding a subheading every time, because you're going to increase the size of the text or decrease the size of the text as you see fit. And there's nothing wrong with going in and adding a heading as well. Whenever you click once on it, I would probably click off it and then I would drag it to wherever I want. And we're just going to call this Beauty Horses. And we're going to double click on it or just highlight that text. And we're going to change this to something that we're actually wanting. And why don't we change our casing of the letters to uppercase? And it is a wee bit, it's filling that canvas. So I'm just going to click off, click on it, and just drag that in a wee bit. Move that over. And you'll see a grid there just to show me that I'm in the center. That works well. You also can have images as the background. So I'm just going to click on that. That's fine. and I'm going to go into my uploads, and I'm just going to choose an image that is already in my uploads. Click, hold, drag, and drop. And that'll actually show you it in, it'll fill up your entire canvas. I'm going to click on that and delete it. You can also click on the image, and as you can see, it doesn't fill the entire background. And I'm going to drag that just to make it stand out a wee bit more, or stand out not as bad. And as you can see, I've got a dotted line there, which hopefully can show through in this video to show me that I'm in the center. I click off. I can go into text again, add a subheading, click off it, and drag it to wherever I want. It's showing this box here, which can work quite well because it frames it with whatever color you're wanting to work with. And then you can type in details about your course. And you can drag this text box over as you see fit. And you can also highlight the text and change your font size and the style. That works okay. And I can also embolden that. And we're still sticking to our two font style rule for this one. Those two fonts complement themselves quite well. You can click on this and change the color as you see fit. We can go into elements here, and if we can search for different things here. We can go for a grid, which works quite well. So just type in grid, click on see all, and you can see all these different types of grids. You can click and drag that over, and it'll fill the background. And you can also resize that and drag it to wherever you want. Now I'm going to get rid of my photo here, and I'm going to drag my grid up. Now it's it centered. I'm going to click and drag my text down, and I've got a grid that works okay. So I'm going to click once on it, drag that over, and just keep a wee bit of frame in there, and the background color if you were doing something like that. And then you can go back into elements again, clear any searches, and this time we're going to go for fabrics. We're going to go into photos, and there's lots of different things here that you could use. And as you can see, quite a lot of these images are for free. Let's just go for this woolly jumper thing. Drag it over and drop it into place. Exactly the same for this one. Exactly the same for this one. You can double click in the photo and reposition it. Exactly the same for this one. And click off, and you can double click in this image if you wanted to have a wee bit more of the bottom, and click off to the side whenever you're finished. And this time we're going to call it tapestry, and that works okay. If anything, I'm clicking off after I've done something each time, and I'm just going to drag that up, and it works okay. I'm just centering it a wee bit more to have this an equal gap at the top and bottom. And I can click on that and hit the delete key and keep on doing that just to get rid of that. We're going to come back into our elements again, And this time we're going to look for a grid. And we're just going to go for this one here, the 2. I can click, drag, and drop that over. And then I could go into uploads or search for some photos that I'm looking for. Just going to go back to beauty again. Type in beauty followed by the enter key. Go to photos and you're ready then to choose something that you might want for that. I'm going to go for this image. And we're going to go for another one. This one will do fine. Now, as you can see, the white writing doesn't stand out so well whenever you're doing something like that. And what we're going to do then is we're going to go into elements. We're going to search for a square. If I can remember how to spell square. And see this element here? We're just going to click once on it. And we're going to change this to black. And over here is transparency. If it's a smaller screen or you don't have the screen open as full as it can be, or it should be, or it can be, then go to transparency, or the 3 dots. Under transparency, bring it down to whatever works for you. 30 and 40% works okay. Click on that. Then we're just going to drag our box and just fill that area. And make sure that the writing is at the front of it. To do that, click once on it, right click, and go to arrange. And if bring forward is grayed out like it is here, then the text is actually at the front. Then you can click on this, make your text changes. You can go into effects and add shadows. And you can do all different things that we've done before as well. The other thing we were looking at was frames. So I'm just going to go into elements again and type in frame, followed by the enter key. You can then click on see all, and there's lots of different frames that you can go for. This one works okay, but the circles and probably this funny little badge thing would be the most common ones. This is a rounded rectangle. This is a rounded shape at one corner. But we're just going to go for circle, click once on it, and resize it to whatever you think works. Clear the previous search, so just go frame. You can upload your own photo using uploads on the left hand side, but I'm just going to type in beauty again, followed by the enter key, and go into photos. The framing like this does work best with people, but you can actually just go for something. I'm just going to clear my search for beauty and just go for nails again, and go into photos. And it can work for like final photos, you know, what you've done. So even if you make wedding cakes, you could put the cake in here. Drag, drop, and whenever it snaps into grid like this, then let go and double click on that, and you might want to try and move the photo around to get all the nails in, and then just click off. This type of thing here can be moved anywhere on the page. Circles like that work quite well whenever it's in the center. And to be honest, you wouldn't really have a background photo or grid like that, because that is distracting from whatever you're trying to sort of tell people here. So what you could do is click on this and delete it, click on this and delete, and you've got your background color again. And click on this, change your color, and it just makes things like this stand out a wee bit more. You can go back into elements. You can even search for a circle. Enter key. Go for a circle. Change your color of the circle. You can drag, now, because I was trying to drag it, I didn't deselect it. So deselect it, just click off the canvas, drag this up, and just move that a wee bit. And we're just making it a wee bit bigger than the actual shape before. Right click on it, arrange, send backward. And as you can see now, you've got a framing around your actual image here. Drag that just to make it work a wee bit better for you. Click off it. Click back on the actual square again. And you can use your arrow keys on your keyboard to make minute or little tiny adjustments to it. And something like that works quite well. And again, it just makes that photo stand out by adding a circle, arranging, right clicking on the circle and sending it backward through the arrange. So I'm just going to recap on that. I'm going to click on this shape and delete it. I've still got my circle open here on the left hand side. Click on it. There's my nice shape. Change the color to whatever you want. Drag it out a wee bit and just get it that it covers a wee bit more than the actual photo. Right click on it, arrange, send backward. That's not too bad. I just move it a wee bit in, just so the framing isn't as bad. And while that's still selected like that, while it still has these little circles around it, just arrow across. I'm going to deselect it and select it again. Arrow across. Just to make that framing look a wee bit better. You can make tiny adjustments if you want your framing to just be that wee bit smaller in width. I've made that adjustment. Click off it. Click back onto the shape again and use my arrow keys just to make that minor adjustment, and then just click off it. And as you can see now, we've just got that smaller frame here. And to arrange that behind the photo, I just click on the shape, right click on the shape, arrange it and send backward. That's not highlighted or grayed, or it's grayed out at the minute because I've already sent it backward. Click off the canvas again. And bear with me 2 seconds just to check. Yep. Left click always confirms that you want to work with something. Right click gives you a menu of additional options of what you can do with something. So if I left click, that's telling me I want to work with that. But if I right click on it, it gives me a menu of additional options. And one that you might want to use is duplicate. And duplicate gives you an exact match of what you've created. And as you can see, whenever I'm dragging that down, you see it's telling me the 37. That's 37 pixels from the bottom of that shape and 37 pixels from the title to the text below it. That's telling me that it's even, that I'm in the center. I can let go of that. I can make any changes that I want here. Font style, font size, font color. I can uppercase that. As you can see, whenever I click on that, it actually brings it back to normal again. apart from that capital T. So by right clicking on this element, for example, I can duplicate that and have two photos. Or I can click off that, right click, duplicate, because I want another circle. And then you can drag your photo, and as you can see, the arrangement's off. So all I'm going to do there is right click on the shape, arrange, send backward, and try and bring my photo. There we go. And we just bring those elements over. You can highlight more than one area by clicking, holding, and dragging it over. And as you can see, it's showing these two elements are now highlighted. I can bring that across. And with a wee bit of fiddling around there, you could have two circled images. Be happy with one, and then right click on it and duplicate. I'm just checking to see anything else. Yep. We also briefly had a wee look at two other things: custom size and creating presentations. So I'm going to close out of that, and if I go down to my recent designs, now you will actually have to refresh the page. You'll always have this little arrow to refresh, and if you go down, your recent designs there for Canva test and beauty test are shown on the list. You can go in to create a design and search for anything. You can go for A4 document or a business plan, whatever you want. An A4 document will typically be an actual A4 page in portrait. So if I click on that, that's my canvas, and I know that this is an A4 page. So I'm just going to close out of that. I can go A5 or A3. And I would say probably A3 is the biggest document you would go for. And you can also go for custom size. The default, or the option that will always be shown, will be pixels. But a lot of people work in millimeters, inches, and centimeters. If you're doing a banner for outside, you will get it in probably in millimeters or centimeters. You could do a pull-up banner, postcard, newspaper ad, or whatever you want. I'm just going to go into centimeters here, and I'm just going to do 7 centimeters wide. Probably that should be inches actually. So 7 by 5 is exactly the same as an old photograph size. Click on create a design, and you know that this canvas then is ready to go. You can drag any of the elements over. You don't need to worry. I do want you to go through and explore and try new things. There'll be certain days that you won't get along too well with it. Just leave it and go back to it another day. You cannot break anything with Canva or anything on your computer with it. And you always have your undo option up here. And if you were designing something, for example, I'm just going to do certificate of appreciation in that size. Don't forget to name it up here. Followed just by a click off. And whenever you go into share, if this is going to a printer, you can go to download, and instead of PNG, why not go PDF print? which is this option here. And that will give you a PDF document that you can send to anybody. So even if you didn't want to print something, but you wanted to send them something, PDFs can be opened by every type of device. So all phones, tablets, and computers can open and work and view a PDF. Most common use would be to send it to a printer, because that is the best for printing quality, whereas a PNG is fine for social media and your website, but it wouldn't be as good quality for sending it to the printer. We're going to close out of that and come back to Canva again. We're going to close what I was searching for, and this time go for presentations. Press the enter key, and there will be, again, loads of templates. A good number of them will be available for free and won't actually show the little crown. You can go for something like this, for example. Click on customize this template. Don't forget to name it, because you'll never remember it being called a blue and black modern creative portfolio presentation. And then this is ready for you to customize in any shape or form. Click on it, change your color. You can remove certain elements of it. You can click off the presentation and you'll see that there's different slides here. You don't have to use them. What you can do is, if you're happy with the color of it, click on these three dots and then go to duplicate. You can get rid of this element, or if you wanted to go for something like this, you can hit the plus and it will overwrite whatever you had on that actual page. You can also click on add page, and then go for their templates, and you can delete any of these elements. Let's say you didn't want these pluses, click on it, hit delete, click delete, click delete. Don't even have to have this line. You can change the font styles or so on, and whenever you're happy with it, you can duplicate it by clicking on these three dots and duplicate page, and work away, and you have access to all of the elements that we've used before, such as grids and frames. You've got shapes, and you can upload. You can upload photos and videos onto your slides, and there's automatic saving, which is a brilliant thing. You've also got your undo option, and you can present it. So you could go to present and it'll just work like PowerPoint, or you can share this with somebody by typing in their email address, where you can download it. And the PDF standard works okay for presentations as well. You can click on that, and really I think that's probably the most likely option you're going to go for in this case. PDF standard really does work for that. The beauty about this and creating presentations in Canva is you can do a lot more design elements through grids and frames and all the different styles of text and so on. And you can see this presentation on any laptop whenever you log into Canva. So if you designed this at home and you were away somewhere and you wanted to present it and you didn't want to take your laptop, you can log into Canva, and provided you have an internet connection, you will see your designs and you can present it as normal. You don't have to have PowerPoint as well, because PowerPoint is part of Microsoft Office and not everybody has it, and they might have different versions of it. Canva presentations is the most modern way of doing a presentation, but the biggest thing is, if I just close out this tab, it's the amount of templates that you have. Even on free here, all these different types of presentations are great. So if you're doing a talk or presenting or pitching to somebody, why not use Canva presentations? And the final thing we're going to cover is removing a background from an image. If I click once on this is a site called remove.bg, and you can just type it into Google. You can upload an image and then choose one from your downloads or your pictures or your documents. Let me just find one here. Yeah. We're going to try this one and see how well it works. It is quite a noisy background, but I'm just going to go for this one. And it automatically removes the background. This works best for people. So if you have somebody there and you don't want to show your background, you can go to remove.bg, upload that, and as you can see, it took a few seconds, and then you can just download that image for that and upload it into Canva. So please do not worry about the background removing feature that was available in Canva. I am going to show you that just if you ever do go on to anything like that. So let's say we're going to go for this one just for practice. Click once on the photo, click once on edit photo, click once on background remover. Give it a few seconds while it works on that. And as you can see, it's cut that girl out. But don't worry, it isn't just it isn't a big enough reason to go and buy Canva. Although Canva is $10.99 a month, and it's very good for your business. You can use it for documents, for calendars, for to-do lists, for everything that you can think of. Newspaper ads, business cards. There's loads and loads of templates out there for it. But it's not enough just to buy it for removing the background of a picture, because you've got remove.bg where you can upload any image and download it with the background removed, and that will work fine for that. If you have any questions or any problems with Canva, please use my email which accompanies this video, and thank you.